U.S. out of the UN is a lifelong dream, and I would have done everything I could have to make that happen. Either way, it would have been made abundantly clear to them that this nation does not need their permission to defend itself. I can just imagine how popular that decision would make me with liberals. I also feel that Bush should have changed strategies in Iraq, that his staying the course, as he was constantly talking about, showed inflexibility in his thinking to a changing situation. And I certainly would have kept more troops in Afghanistan and would have done everything I could to attract more people to join our military, including perks such as full ride scholarships for vets who served for 4 years or longer. Universities and schools who banned ROTC and recruiters on campus would have found their federal funding jerked the next day. In my administration, bin Laden would be dead, even if I had to carpet bomb 10,000 square miles of mountains into gravel. In the end, though, while I can say all of these things, what I cannot say is, would I have enacted all of these ideas while in the hot seat? No one can say that. And if they do, they are lying to you and to themselves. You will never know until you're right there at that moment facing those circumstances. I don't know for sure what I would have done when I was right there. Would I have acted as George W. Bush had? Instinctually, I say no. Realistically, I know that it's possible I may have made some of the exact same decisions. Now, at the end, I've noted a lot of people who seem surprised at how relaxed and at peace Mr. Bush seems, how he does not at all seem concerned about his dismal approval ratings, and how a majority of this nation is glad to see the backside of him. This does not surprise me at all, as George W. Bush is not at all concerned at how he will be measured in history. Many people say that he is a visionary and will go down in history as such. Now, of course, liberals will roll their eyes and perhaps even lose their last meal when told this. And I would even agree with that. I do not believe that history will treat him so kindly. Keep in mind, however, that when George W. Bush is finally measured and rated and recorded into the annals of history, it will be done many years after we are all dead and gone. I know this will come as a terrible shock to liberals, many of whom have been spending much of the last several decades trying to completely rewrite this segment of American history at which they have been a part. But in the end, Bush will be judged by scholars, professional historians, who are going to look at all of the information, including information that is classified and will not be released until decades after most of us will be dead. They will only cast a disparaging glance at the stories and articles of the various media outlets which have nothing to do with fact and which most likely belong at the bottom of bird cages. They will pay little attention to any of the various books and so-called documentaries produced during this time period. In other words, all of the people who are now alive and have a vested interest in seeing Bush recorded as an angel or a devil will be long dead and gone, and will have no say in how he is ultimately treated by history. While I certainly do not believe that this will be the case and that he will be treated as a visionary, who knows? In 100 years, he may very well be recorded as a visionary. None of us, however, will ever see that day. In the end, I find myself happy in a way for George W. Bush. Tomorrow morning, he can sleep till noon if he wants, and I hope he does. Tomorrow, he will not have the weight of responsibility on his shoulders for the most powerful nation on earth. Tomorrow, Mr. Bush can do anything he damn well pleases. Personally, I would recommend a barbecue, a cold adult beverage of his choice, maybe several of them if he'd like, and a good book. Preferably, not one about politics. So, Despite all of my differences with the man, despite the fact that I have and will continue to disagree with his handling of certain aspects of his presidency, I would like to take the time and I would like to take this moment to wish former President George W. Bush and former First Lady Laura Bush fair winds and waters.